Alright guys, real talk. A lot of people say Columbia is affordable, and you hear me say it all the time. Now what they're really asking though is what can I buy here without crying in my car after every single showing because I can't afford it. Because one person moves here and they say, wow, Columbia's cheap. And another person, they move here and say, wait a minute, Columbia is not near as affordable as I thought. They're both right. Listen, it's not just downtown Columbia. You've got Columbia proper, you've got Lexington, you've got Irmo, you've got everywhere, all those little in-between pockets that they feel completely different depending on your budget at the time. So today what I want to do is I want to break down what you can actually buy in much of the greater Columbia area and suburbs by price range. We're going to take it all the way from about $150,000 all the way up to $1 million plus. And I'm going to tell you where you get more house, where you're paying for location, why so many buyers are leaning into new construction right now, and the hidden affordability things that most people miss. So if you're trying to figure out what your budget really gets you right here in Columbia, stay with me, because by the end of this, I hope that you're going to understand a little bit more than just Columbia is affordable. Hey guys, my name's Chad, and I help people buy homes all over the greater Columbia area all the time because that's how people actually shop. Nobody relocates here saying, I only care about one tiny city limit line. They want to know everything. They want to know, where do I get the best value? They want to know the house that I actually want. What areas make sense for my lifestyle, my family, my commute, and my budget. And that's what this video is for. Two quick favors before we jump in. Please, if this is the first time to the channel or you like the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. 80% of the people that watch my channel are new people that are watching the channel. They're not even my subscribers. If you're thinking about moving to Columbia and you want a real game plan, book a Zoom call with me in the description. I love getting to meet the people face to face. I'll help you sort through the areas, the price points, and whether a new build or resale even makes sense for you. Now, before we get into the actual price bands, you need to understand something first. Why do homes cost what they cost here? Let's break that down. Before we actually start talking about the different price points, let's talk about what drives those price points, because it can be different in one area. The same budget buys you a different house in one area than it does another. Home price is not one knob. It's the entire soundboard. People love to say, that house is overpriced, or that one's a deal. But most of the time, they haven't slowed down enough to even understand what they're really paying for. Because in the greater Columbia area, that same budget, it can get you a very different experience depending on the trade-off. Now, the first thing we want to talk about is location. It, of course, is the master switch. And I don't mean just Columbia versus Lexington. I mean, what street's it on? Is it on the busy part of the street where you're getting a lot of traffic? Is it more toward the end of the street on a cul-de-sac where you don't get near as much traffic and it's a little bit quieter? Does it back up to woods or even another backyard? Can you hear traffic? Is it close to shopping? Does it feel peaceful when you pull in? Or does it feel like a compromise? That affects price because it can affect demand. A wooded lot might be a $5,000 premium on a new build, whereas a corner or a cul-de-sac lot is a $10,000 premium. These are things you got to look at. School districts, they really matter because demand matters. It can even sell your house quicker if you're ever putting it back on the market. People get weird when school districts come up. Let's just be honest. School assignment affects demand, and demand affects price. That doesn't mean every buyer has kids. It means buyers know school zones affect resale, future demand, neighborhood competition. Around here, those district names come up constantly, the main ones. Lexington 1, Lexington Richland 5, Richland 2, Richland 1. Even buyers without kids know those names matter. Let's talk about square footage. It only matters if it's usable. This can be a huge buyer's trap sometimes. I know houses that will not sell because it's a horrible layout. Two homes can both say 2,000 square feet. One feels very big and the other feels like 400 square feet of hallway and bad decision making. Buyers do not pay for square footage the way sellers think they do. They pay for the livability. not necessarily the square footage. Sellers are only going to sell their house for what a buyer will pay for it, so it matters what buyers think. Bigger lots do not automatically mean better value. A lot can be big on paper and it can still be awkward. It can be sloped. It can be hard to fence. It can be hard to use. Or it can be full of drainage problems. In new construction, lot premiums, like I said, it can hit a lot harder than buyers expect, whether it's a wooded lot, corner lot, cul-de-sac. Also, we got to think 1-story versus 2-story. People always ask me, and they wonder, why is it more expensive and higher per square foot on a 1-story house a lot of times? It matters here because many buyers relocating to South Carolina, they want 1-story living. We have a lot of veterans. We have a lot of retirees coming right here to South Carolina. And yes, 1-story homes usually cost more per square foot because you're building out. You're not necessarily building up. Now, what does that mean? If you're building out, it's more foundation. It's more roof. It's got to have a wider lot because it's building more out. Plus, there's a demand. A lot of buyers do want no stairs. You can't imagine how many I do searches for, and they say 1-story. We don't mind a room over the garage, but we just want 1-story because we're not going to spend all day going up and down the stairs to the master bedroom. That adds a lot of pressure to it too. Upgrades. They change the story fast. This is where new construction gets a lot of people. They walk into a model home and they think, wow, this is affordable. No. That was the emotional price. Now let's talk about the real price, because then you start stacking cabinets, counters, flooring, tile, lighting, porch, a fence, blinds, lot premiums, appliances, stainless steel appliances, gas stove versus smooth top. And suddenly, affordable, it got real confident because price of your home just went way up. Look in some of these design rooms with new builds that you can add so much stuff to. And these incentives do matter with new construction right now as well, because builders know rates do matter. So they use closing cost help, rate buy downs, they use preferred lender programs, and that can make a higher priced home, a new build home, feel better monthly than a lower priced resale, and they're getting upgrades with that new build. That's why you cannot shop only by sticker price. And last but not least, property taxes. They're hidden affordability things. This is huge for relocators. If you're buying a primary residence in South Carolina, the legal residence treatment can lower your property taxes if you qualify and file correctly. The most practical affordability levers here, because buying a house is not just can I afford the purchase, it's can I afford the life attached to it. And flood zones and insurance, they matter and come right along with that. In the suburbs, I really don't have a lot of problem with that. If you're near the river in Columbia, one of the 3 rivers where the Broad and Saluda meet and form the Congaree, or even the Wateree over there as well. Keep those into effect too. But I check everything, but I also make people sign a flood disclosure, because even if it's not in the flood zone, make sure your mortgage company may come and say, we're going to make you pay flood insurance anyway, because back there in the year of 2015, we had that huge flood. This one did flood a little bit. Now let's actually get into our price ranges. What can you buy? Anywhere between $150,000 and $250,000. Now we're going to start there because these days, unless it's a really small condo in a not so good area or anything like that, you're at $100,000. You've got to have some imagination, because you're going to have to do some work with it, period, when it comes to resale. And new builds, they're not starting right there either. The lowest new build I've seen recently has been a smaller 2-bedroom townhome that's around $206,000. Great little home, but they're attached to 5 different homes, and there's some other things that go with it too, such as a little bit higher HOA. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, $150,000 to $250,000 price range. This is the price range where people are saying, I need something clean, functional, and I do not want to be house poor. They want to have room. They want to have money to do other things too. Typically, when you budget for your house, of what you have coming in, you're budgeting for about 30%. Now that includes your payment, your property, your insurance, your utilities, everything, you want to be about 30%. Many people qualify for a lot more than that, and they're house poor later when they do that. Make sure what your budget says that you can get. Now, that range in Columbia has real options, but it also has trade-offs. What do you get here? On the resale side, you get smaller single-family homes, avenues in Cayce, and the outskirts of Lexington, Gilbert, Batesburg, even in the outskirts of Chapin, different places. You're going to get those are older brick ranches. Some are updated flips. Some townhomes or condos, and homes in older established neighborhoods. This is also the range with the biggest variance. One house is move-in ready, the next one needs flooring, paint, a roof, and a prayer. So this range is all about sorting. Now, new construction in this range, yeah, we get this sometimes. And that surprises a lot of people. Now, most of them are in townhomes, in condos, and things like that, especially if it's new build. But usually not getting the big suburban detached dream home with all the upgrades. But depending on the community and the product type, you can still see entry-level new construction, smaller plans. A lot of people, this is their starter home, and they have those in the low 200 options. The trade-off is here, but it's newness versus space, location versus condition, turnkey versus charm, house size versus repair risk. A lot of times you got to have that imagination to imagine, but I also have lenders like prime lending, even rate lending, and you have the imagination to know what you can do. Many people will go with those renovation loans. They take a little longer, but it's worth it in the end. And for a lot of buyers, that best value comes from going slightly outward or accepting an older home that's fundamentally solid. This is the starter home. This is I want to stop renting home. This is stay sane range. Now, with the 250 to 350 range, this is the sweet spot for a lot of buyers in the Columbia area, because this is where people stop feeling like they have to compromise on everything. Now you've got choices. You can often choose between a nicer turnkey resale or a real single family new build in certain communities. Now, the resale in this range, this is where resale actually starts looking pretty strong. You'll often see updated kitchen, better maintained systems, more established neighborhoods, decent yard sizes, mature trees, and homes that feel a little more comfortable. This is where a lot of buyers will say, okay, this feels a little more like home. And new construction in this range, you start seeing true single family homes, more open floor plans, new systems, lower maintenance, might even receive a little bigger lot, and builder incentives that can improve monthly affordability. It's a big reason people lean toward the new build right now, because a new build at $330 with help from the builder, it can sometimes feel better monthly than a cheaper resale that needs work. Now, the trade-off with a lot of these, in this range, you might have a more established neighborhood versus a newer neighborhood with no trees at all. You've got yards and trees versus low maintenance and modern layout. You've got an older character versus builder incentive math. This range shows up in a lot of these suburbs: Lexington, Irmo, Blythewood, parts of Northeast Columbia. Gets even some real good prices in Northeast Columbia, West Columbia, and Cayce, and even some parts of Columbia proper. That's a more common range right here in Columbia, especially when now this is Columbia town limit, but the median price range over the last number of years has been more between $250 and $275. It's not necessarily that way in all the suburbs, and you may have to give a little bit in some of those. But $250 to $350, you can actually get a very nice house, one that I would live in a heartbeat. Actually, one I do live in. That's about the range that it would fall in now. Okay, to $350 to $450. Now we're in the move-up range. This is where buyers stop asking, what do I really want? Wants versus needs. Because now people want more square footage. They want better layouts. They want stronger school options, flex rooms, office space, and a house that they really enjoy coming to home to. Now, the resale in this range gets really attractive here. This is where you often see mature neighborhoods, bigger lots, brick homes people love, stronger curb appeal, and homes that feel more established. In the new construction, you might get a little more space in those lots that you start seeing. Larger floor plans, things with bonus rooms, lofts, office spaces, community amenities, and more finish options. Those amenities may include pool, they may include clubhouse, and a lot more options when it comes to that. And yes, this is where one story starts showing up more, but you'll often pay a little more for it too. Now the trade-off, again, that larger new build in a new neighborhood versus more unique resale in an established neighborhood. Neither one's wrong. It depends on whether you value new systems and convenience or trees, lot, and neighborhood feel. Now, 450 to 550. Believe it or not, I just sold a close to 4,000 square foot home for around 485 that had a full mother-in-law suite, had huge house, had a incredible yard right in Irmo, and it was a new build. This is where people stop saying I need it to work and they start saying I want to love it. So this is the range where they need a little more, might be that mother-in-law suite or something, and it's the range where buyers want the house to feel good every day. They want nicer finishes, they want better lots, better entertaining space, stronger neighborhood feel sometimes, and even fewer compromises. Resale in this range, resale can really shine here. You'll get a lot bigger lots, better landscaping. You may even get half an acre in this. Better outdoor spaces and homes that don't feel interchangeable. Now, new construction, builders start selling not just the floor plan, but they start selling the lifestyle. You see more upgraded interiors, you see better lots, more amenities, something like even Saluda River Club that may have some townhomes in here, but they have huge HOAs, but the amenities are insane what you get, and you just have to look at those. And they have stronger curb appeal, but it's also where lot premiums and upgrades can quietly stack really fast. That base price, it can lie to you real fast if you're not paying attention though. You've got to look at that because especially with new construction, you can add in a lot. And why this range feels good at this level, in a lot of other metro areas, you're still trying to survive the market. Here, in many cases, you're actually buying quality of life. That's where a lot of people stay once they get here. They don't just buy affordability, they buy a life that they can enjoy, closer to the lake. Keep their affordability lower on the house side, but they can also still buy a boat. Whereas in the big city, they would not be able to do that any whatsoever. To me, I love my house and I do a lot at my house, but I live in a 1,400 square foot house and I want to be able to enjoy my life other places too. I want to be able to go on vacation. I want to be able to help my kids when they need to. You look at what you want them to buy, but also look at that lifestyle that you can still enjoy and don't get too house poor when you get into this limit. 550 to $1 million. You're hitting that luxury by Columbia standards now. And once you hit this range, homes become a lot less interchangeable. This is where the value starts getting driven by privacy, mature landscaping, custom features, proximity to water, premium neighborhoods, and future resale story. What you're usually buying, this is where you start seeing custom builds, larger lots, premium neighborhoods, strong outdoor living, and in some cases, better lake adjacent or water influenced locations that I was just talking about. You can be close to there and still boat club experience, or you might have a boat. And don't forget, you do pay property taxes on boats just like you do cars here. Just a reminder, so it's more money when you're talking about that too. And the why behind this range, as far as all the way up to $1 million, well, at this level, buyers are not just buying the house. They're buying that prestige, that privacy, that convenience, and the long-term lifestyle play. And the more expensive the house gets, the less forgiving buyers become about the boring stuff like insurance, flood zones, maintenance, hidden costs. They don't mind a lot of those. You're crazy if you don't, but money buys a lot. So if you got that money and you don't have to worry about stuff like that, that's great. I don't think that'll ever be my lifestyle, but at the same time, I know how I enjoy where I live, but I enjoy my play life too. $1 million and up. Now, once you pass $1 million here in the greater Columbia market, you are no longer shopping the normal market. You're shopping the uniqueness. You're buying that luxury appeal that is not many places. This is where the inventory gets a lot thinner and buyers get pickier. What you're usually buying here in Columbia, you're looking at true lakefront. You have a dock. You might even have a sandy beach if you're getting over $1 million. The average home on Lake Murray is $1 million. They're up there for 2, 3, and even 4 million, such as at Spencer's Point, or downtown, such as you've got that Prestige in the Shandon area, in the Melrose Heights, Forest Acres, like the video that I just did recently. It's historic standouts, estate style homes, custom luxury builds, or acreage properties outside the core. The truth at this level, at 1 million plus, the buyer's not just buying a house, they're buying a lifestyle contract. They want privacy, prestige, turnkey quality, convenience, and a home that feels worth the effort and the money. And in Columbia, luxury often is not loud. A lot of the best luxury here is more understated and location driven. That's part of what makes the market interesting. I have seen people go and purchase lake homes and tear out half the home. There are people that have money and then they go and they're on the lake, yet they go make sure they've got to have that prestige of buying a pool too. And they want all of that in one. I've been looking with clients, they love the yard, but the house is a little 80s, 90s style. And they will gladly spend the additional $500-600 to redo the entire inside of the house if they like it. That is what it buys you at $1 million plus. Now, there's very few out there. I've seen some out there, but there's very few in the 5 million plus. But those are here in Columbia. People do have them, and they do like them. A lot of people live on the lake like that, whether it's golf, whether it's that lake life, whether it's the downtown atmosphere. That luxury lifestyle is great. It will probably never be me, but at the same time, I know a lot of people that are like that, and they're just as down to earth as I am. Don't discount it. A lot of people love that luxury lifestyle, and I love helping people find it. All right, so that's Columbia affordability by the price band. And in a way that I'm hoping will actually help you shop a little bit. I know I said a lot of generic stuff. I typed in a lot of stuff or said a lot of stuff that geared down into the different neighborhoods as well. But here's the big takeaway. Yes, Greater Columbia area still has a center of gravity in that low to mid 200 zone, depending on what metric you're looking at. Yes, there is real inventory under 300K and under 500K. And yes, affordability here is real, but it's not uniform. That part is what people need to understand. That's why I spent 6 or 7 minutes on the first part telling you exactly what people are looking at that prices a house. One zip code says cheap, another says not anymore. One suburb gives you more space, another gives you a stronger resale. One new build, it might help the monthly payment, whereas another resale gives you a better lot, location, and character. This is not about finding the number. It's about finding your right trade-off. So here's what I want you to do. Hit that subscribe button for me if you want more neighborhood and relocation videos. Comment your budget range and let me know if you want new build, resale. Schedule a Zoom call with me and let's go over it. And if you want real help mapping it out, I will gladly meet you face to face here in Columbia, South Carolina, and I can even help you anywhere in the U.S. I have referrals everywhere. Yes, I get a referral fee off of it, but you still get it for free, and I will find you one incredible EXP employee that's out there. It's not always EXP, but a lot of times it is because we are that vast and it's such a great company. Now tell me your budget, job location, lifestyle priorities, and whether you want a newer or an older home. And I'll help you narrow down the parts of Greater Columbia that actually fit. Because you're not just buying a house, you're buying your day-to-day life. Guys, I'll see you in the next one. Hope this helped you out.